No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You've got it.
And back on again. Out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Bronco Nation? Happy, what is today? Tuesday here at Bronco Nation News at BroncoNationNews.com. It is a Taco Bell Tuesday. Typically, we would have Jay Tuss with us, but he is still celebrating the birth of their third child and helping out Camille there. So congrats to the Tuss family. I think he'll be back tomorrow as Bronco Studios has their debut show tomorrow. But congrats again to Jay. And nobody can replace Jay. But Michael Callahan, you get first shot to try today, so we appreciate you. I think you had last week. You filled in for him too, right? So we'll see if we can pull it off. And appreciate you for jumping on, Michael Callahan. How are we?
I'm great. If I can be half as good as Jay, it's a good day. So. Happy to be here and happy to sub in.
I don't know what, I mean, I'm sure Jay's still getting in the weight room somehow. I mean, you can't go a week off here. Come on.
I think he could go 3 months and keep his arms. So I think he's all right.
We love Jay and Camille and the whole family there. So congrats. He posted an awesome video of his other two kids getting to meet their daughter for the first time, and that was pretty cool, and it was a cool video. So congrats to Jay. He'll be back soon. But now that we have Winston locked in on Wednesday, Michael Callahan nice enough to join us on Tuesday this week, as we are now 16 days away from the season opener against South Florida. And again, Bronco Nation News Live. This is a Taco Bell Tuesday. And we appreciate Taco Bell for their support of Bronco Nation News. So make sure you get out, hit up a local Treasure Valley Taco Bell location, and we're going to be doing a broadcast. Maybe that's one of the mornings I can sweet talk you, Mike. We'll be doing a morning broadcast from Taco Bell, and you can get some free breakfast and get a quesadilla or some of the great breakfast items they have at Taco Bell. We'll be doing that in the near future here. And as always, our title sponsor, RowPaint.com. All your painting needs, make sure you hit up our title sponsor, Andy Rowe, RowPaint.com. And we had their concrete coatings done twice on our patio, and appreciate their work, and know that they're looking to fill up the fall schedule right now. So rowpaint.com is the spot to go. Mike, putting some plans together late last night. I was already kind of putting the game day plan together for the South Florida game, and was looking at my pregame, postgame, and all the content and the shows. And it's like I said, 16 days away. And I don't know if as a football player, in the middle of fall camp, if that would seem close or still like a mile away. But at least for me, it's starting to feel a little real here. We're going to talk to Spencer after practice this evening. And then they'll have scrimmage 2 on Thursday, and then they get the bonus week, and then it's game week. It's going to be here before we know it.
Yeah, it's getting real, to say the least. I think as a player, once you get past scrimmage 2 and you get into that bonus week where you're truly focused on game planning for your first opponent in South Florida, I think that's when you start to truly process that, you're under 2 weeks away. It's as real as it gets. But, sitting here 16 days out, not in a fall camp, we are as close as we could be right now. I'm starting to feel the itch. It's going to be freaking awesome, super fired up, but it's getting real.
No doubt. Super excited. And we were super excited, Mike, that you were going to be a part of our first away game watch party. I know we're super excited about that out at Uncle Bob's Pizza in Meridian. We're going to have Nathan and Chris, who you got to meet recently, Mike, and you're going to be joining them on the post-game show. I know it's going to be fun just watching the game, having a beer or two, some pizza, watching the game with fans, hanging out, and then we'll fire up the cameras and the microphones right when the show ends there at Uncle Bob's for the about an hour or so post-game show. We'll go about 2 hours. Nathan and Chris and Mike will go the first hour, instant reaction right when the game ends. Get your thoughts on the YouTube chat. Maybe take some, always nervous, but I think at Uncle Bob's, probably not maybe the same scene as the James Mike, so you can probably pass the mic around the crowd if you want to and get some reaction and probably be okay, but we'll see. That's always fun. And you guys will go about an hour, and then I'll jump on from Tampa and take over for the second hour and play some interviews with Coach D and some players and give you the scene and the lowdown from South Florida. But I know you are we appreciate you for agreeing to do this, and I know you're looking forward to joining us for the game and the post-game show in a couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I told you, I think this is the healthiest way for me to watch my first game as an alumni. So pretty fired up about it. Fired up to be with Bronco Nation and get to enjoy the game with everybody out there.
Healthiest for your apartment wall probably too, right? And your TV.
Yeah,
and everything.
Absolutely. Just keep it under control and get to, soak it in and be a part of the crowd and get to see what the experience is like as a fan.
Yeah, and maybe that part of the discussion we should save till next week or whenever we get you on again closer to the game. But yeah, your first game now as a fan, first game as an alumni, that's going to be a weird feeling for you. And yeah, you'll be out there enjoying some beverages and pizza, and then getting your reaction on the post-game show as well. So really looking forward to that and getting your perspective, and appreciate you for doing that. And hopefully folks will pack Uncle Bob's Pizza. I know it's a 3:30 game, but it's going to be a fun time. Hopefully everybody will pack that place and stick around for the post-game show. And they're going to have some drink specials, food specials, all kinds of good stuff. So looking forward to that. And yeah, that's, I don't know if it's already hit you yet because you're not super sore and banged up from fall camp and you're still getting to sleep in and stuff, but I so to speak, compared to some days. But I don't know if that'll hit you maybe when the reports are coming through on social media, when I'm posting the video of the team getting off the bus, or I don't know when it'll maybe hit you again on game day. But obviously going to be a different experience for you here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and I'm excited for it. It already started to hit me way back when they got back in the spring ball. So I'm prepared for it. I'm ready to see all the guys getting ready for the game. And I know that feeling that they're going to be having on, the 28th. And, I'm excited for them. I know that they're excited to get going. I know the offseason probably flew by for a lot of them, but at the same time, once you get out there and it becomes as real as it gets, because, you got to fly out 2 days before. Once you get on the tarmac going down to South Florida, that's when you start feeling like, all right, like the work that I've done in the offseason, work I did in fall camp, is time to come to fruition. So I'm excited for these guys. I'm excited personally just to watch it and be away from it. But it's gonna be surreal for me, but and for everybody from last year's team. But I'm excited for this team.
Yeah, and your perspective, knowing the same players and the same coaches, and especially watching the game with you would be awesome. I'm jealous of Nathan and Chris and the crew there that probably get your mid-game comments, but I think on the post-game show, that's going to be great too. Just getting your instant thoughts on what we saw in certain plays and why you think they did this and what you saw. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So appreciate you for agreeing to do that. Vlad says, starting to get excited. Come on, Vlad. Scott says, morning. Tequila Gus, I'm right there with you, man. He says, good morning and happy last day your kids are home and driving you crazy day for us West Ada parents. Yes, my boys are going back to school tomorrow morning. So we may actually, with that said, be a couple minutes starting late tomorrow. I'm going to try to take the kids to school on the first day. So we may start a few minutes late tomorrow, 9:05, 9:10, maybe. Just keep that in mind just so we can help get the kids off to school for the first day. But it seems like it starts earlier and earlier every year here with getting the kids back to school. We're August 12th, and tomorrow, August 13th, is the first day. I don't think I went back to school till like almost around Labor Day, it seems like. But I'll get them out of the house.
Yeah, that's like 3 weeks too early for me personally. But
yes,
like you said earlier.
No, get them out. And speaking of my kids, we were watching the shout out to the MYB Meridian Select 10U McDonald team. They're playing in the Cal Ripken World Series right now out in Indiana. And my son is friends with a lot of those kids and has played with them before. And it was we were watching the game this morning. So shout out to them. They're playing in their pool play game out there in Indiana. Not the one on TV. Wish it was Little League World Series. It's the Cal Ripken World Series. Same thing. Just different league, and we were watching their game on YouTube, and so shout out to them. And I know you were quite the baseball player back in your day. Not to get too far off topic here, Mike, but I know last night some controversy for Mike Callahan on the slow pitch softball field. I got sources everywhere, and sources indicate to me, Mike, that you were involved in a little bit of controversy last night.
Yeah, whatever the non-progressing home run rule in slow pitch softball is probably the worst rule in any sport I've ever heard of in my entire life. A home run should not be an out, no matter what you're doing. And, whether it's a 1 home run limit or a 3 home run limit, whatever, non-progressing, progressing, the whole thing is ridiculous. I mean, I got an out on a home run. A guy on their team, we talked him into hitting a 3-run shot because they were down by 15 runs at that point, and the umpire called him out after we talked him into hitting that home run. So they got to figure out their softball rules here. I feel like an old man yelling at the sky now, but it was ridiculous. It was at 10 o'clock at night, so we're all just having fun. The lights are about to turn off, and we got that in the background. So
Mike Sanford on his show has the mic drop, and I think we need our own mic drop here when Mike Callahan joins us, because that was quite the I agree. Now, what's the number? 1, 2, 3? What's the number that you can't get ahead of?
Well, that's the thing. It's not consistent. We've played 3 games so far, and all 3 games, the rules have been completely different. The first game, it was progressing. The second game, it was 3 home run limit. Last night, it was a 1 home run limit. I couldn't tell you. I'll get more fired up about slow pitch softball than I will about football, because that was complete BS.
Are these any former players playing with you here, or anybody?
No, not at all. It's okay. One of my best friends from back home that actually is the local high school baseball coach up here at Mountain View, and I play on his team. I sub in, but I've been in there for every game so far, so I'm pretty much there.
You probably seem like the guy that would be willing to play third base or shortstop and not be afraid of the ball. Put you right there in the infield.
Well, I'll tell you what, I felt horrible because after the home run limit was over, I freaking hit a line drive straight off the third baseman's chest. And, I felt terrible. This guy's getting off work, coming to have fun at a softball game, and I drill him. So,
pitching's one thing to hit the pitcher, but third base, you got a glove, catch the ball.
Our pitcher almost lost his life last night, too. I mean, this freaking guy had to catch it right here. Half the people thought he got hit in the head. Reality is he caught it, but it gets a little dangerous out there for slow pitch.
I think we may need to organize a BNN watch party for the Mike Callahan slow pitch softball game. I'll come out and have a couple cold ones and heckle you there in left field. I think that sounds like some fun.
I'll tell you what, we are not athletic. I have a 3-mile-an-hour speed limit on myself. I have a governor while I play. I got thrown out at second base on a ground ball that was hit maybe 2 feet in front of the catcher. So, yeah.
Well, everyone saw the video. I'm not and that I would say I'm working to get back in some better shape, but everyone saw the pro day video. I didn't exactly, show anybody up with my skills there in my 40-yard dash. But I hit I was playing slow pitch softball last year. I mean, I played, high school ball and stuff back in the day, but obviously that was, several pounds ago. But I actually hit one pretty hard to second base, and the second baseman makes a nice play. And after he picks it, turns his head or lays it, whatever, but he one hops it. I realize I might hit into a double play here. This would be really bad. And so I take like a real quick step out of the box and just got sniped by the sniper up in the lights and just went down hard and had a pretty bad pulled hamstring for like 2 weeks. I mean, I tried to go out to left field and stay in the game. I'm tough. You can't be out of a slow pitch softball game, but I literally couldn't move. And they said, get off the field. So I had to get some ice and I was done. And I will never question a soft tissue injury from a player again. I think I said, because I couldn't, I told you that last year, I couldn't move for like literally 2 weeks. I couldn't sit down. I had to like grab the side. It was horrible. And it was all from a slow pitch softball, not wanting to hit into a double play, which I did. And I think I had to bring the extra round of beers for the next game.
Yeah, nothing will humble you athletically like slow pitch softball. I'm going to put it that way. And I mean, I'm 6 months removed from doing full sprints, every day. Yeah. And now I'm scared to freaking book it out.
Well, your hip must be doing better then.
Oh, I'm not feeling great today. I'll tell you that. The torque on a swing. Are you joking?
Well, I know I could talk 30 minutes about slow pitch softball, but most people on here probably don't care. So
probably not.
We'll move on. But congrats on the. So what do they put that in the scorebook? Is that considered a strikeout or?
Oh, dude, I mean, I don't know how serious we're taking it at this point. I don't know if anybody's got.
I don't know. Some of those guys like. They know it's an out if they hit it, but they want to just prove they can hit one. That kind of seems like you. Like you knew you'd be out. You just, you know what? Screw this. I'm hitting a bomb, and you knew you'd be out. So I mean, it kind of sounds like you're a little, me before team here. It sounds like.
On that one, I think I just had the rules mixed up. And but to be fair, yeah, if I can get one out, I'm definitely going for it. I like how you said I've tried to hit him on the ground. After I hit the third baseman, I was like, all right, I'm hitting in the air because I felt terrible.
You talked the guy into the other team. Just go ahead and hit one, and then he just like just all right, it's nothing. I'll hit.
Yeah, we're putting it right in the middle for you. I'm the catcher, so we told him like it's gonna be right there for you. You can launch it, and he did it, and it was out. So
aren't they all right there in slow pitch softball? I mean, just come on.
You'd be surprised. Some of these guys
that's my problem. I it's so perfect, and I swing at terrible pitches and roll it over or just pop it up.
Oh yeah, I had 2 gross rollovers last night. I get it. I batted probably 6 times for reference.
I may need we need to get some. We don't have much content of you for the intro to the show, so I may need to find a way to make it out there to one of these games and get some video footage here to report back to Bronco Nation. What it's like. But all right, we'll get back to the football talk here momentarily. But want to thank RoePaint.com, our title sponsor. ROEPaint.com, Andy Rowe and Company, whether it's those interior, exterior paintings, projects, whether it's the concrete coatings, they got you covered. Hit up our title sponsor, Andy Rowe and RoePaint.com. I mentioned it to Taco Bell Tuesday. SON Manager Group, the Nicolason family, we appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News. They've committed more than $400,000 in student-athlete scholarships to Boise State. You can return the favor, hit up a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location. We were there twice over the weekend. My boys love Taco Bell, and I had that Cantina Bowl. Sub out the rice and beans for the lettuce, and you're eating keto there, and it was great for me. So love Taco Bell, and you can get more information for locations near you for the SON Management, the Nicolason family online at TacoBellWorks.com. Hey, Jackson's reminds you that you can still get those tickets to Roaring Springs. Save up to $32 on 4 tickets to Roaring Springs when you buy 2 Coca-Cola products at Jackson's or Extra Mile by Jackson. You just go in, buy 2 Coca-Cola products. You get a voucher for $8 off. You can do that 4 times. You're saving up to $32. So I think it's going to be, 100 degrees again today, Mike. It's hot. Get on out to Roaring Springs and get it at a discounted rate thanks to our friends there at Jackson's and Extra Mile. Hey, Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game, thespateam.com. You can check out their online website at thespateam.com and locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They've been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team, and you can check them out there, and we appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News, whether it's a sauna, a spa, pool table. They got you covered online at thespateam.com. We were going to be at the Blue and Orange store today at the Hall of Fame. I said yesterday we'd be there, but then I found out the practice wasn't until 4:30 today, and just worked better to switch things up. So we're going to do that on Monday now. Monday, we'll be at the new Blue and Orange store at the Hall of Fame. Travis Hawks is going to join us. We'll get Cody Gogler on, I believe, and some others. So that'll be Monday at the Hall of Fame inside the new Blue and Orange Store location. So check it out during normal business hours. I think it opens at 10 a.m., and so it'll be open here shortly. You can head down there and check it out. You can order online anywhere in the world at theblueandorangestore.com, but we'll be back at the Blue and Orange Store Monday there at the Blue and Orange Store, online at theblueandorangestore.com. All right, Mike, as I mentioned, we're talking to Spencer Danielson today because I believe scrimmage 2 is on Thursday, and I don't think any players are watching this now because they're all, well, maybe they are, who knows, but I believe they're going to have the surprise sneak Table Rock hike again after Thursday's scrimmage 2, which at this point may not be much of a surprise. I think you guys did it last year, so maybe they know about it, but I know that was kind of thrown on you guys last year in fall camp. I believe after scrimmage 2, nope, right now we're heading to Table Rock and celebrated the end of fall camp there, and I believe that's what's happening on Thursday. So instead of getting Coach D after the scrimmage on Thursday, we're going to get him after practice tonight. But everybody loves a hike up Table Rock at 5 o'clock in the evening after finishing a 100-play scrimmage.
In last year, we had no idea. We had zero idea that was happening, and it was brutal. And none of those hikes are ever awesome getting up. You know, you're at the end of fall camp, obviously you're banged up. So it's always a struggle. But after that second scrimmage last year, that was my 6th time technically finishing fall camp, and that was the hardest. So good luck to them.
Another one of those boxes you're checking off where it's like, don't miss that.
No, not at all. They're making you guys take the hike up with them.
I would have done it. I don't know. I think they're I don't know if they're banning the media, or I guess they can't keep me off a public hill. I guess I could just walk up there if I'd like. I would. In years past, they would let us. You guys would do it on like a Sunday morning or whatever to kind of symbolize camp being over. And I remember some of the Harsin years, we would go up there and interview a couple players at the top, just about camp being over and transitioning into the season. So I said, because we're getting Spencer today, and I actually said, like, hey, I'd rather get him after the scrimmage on Thursday I'm willing to. And they said there wasn't enough time before you guys left or whatever. I said I'm willing to hike up Table Rock if it means I can get Spencer there at the top. After the I'll do that. And I don't think that was well received, probably. So I'll wait for the photos of them on Table Rock, but yeah, we did it a couple weeks ago. It's especially with younger kids that want to stop plenty. It's a I don't want to say, it's a fairly easy hike, all things considered, like given like Colorado and like real hikes, but there are some challenging like spurts there, especially if you're a 300-pound lineman or something, where I'm sure it would be a little bit tough.
Yeah. Like you said, if you're taking breaks and you're getting a chance to stop, the kids are a great excuse, then yeah, it's totally manageable. But if you're going up it, and some guys run it, and Tyler Crow and I went out, maybe a month ago, randomly on a Friday, and we're like, let's run Table Rock. And we attempted that run, and we got freaking smoked in half. And that's, we're both down. Crow's down about 25 pounds. I'm down 50 pounds, and we still got freaking smoked going up that hike. So I don't know. Maybe it's just my conditioning, but that's always going to be hard to me.
Yeah. Well, we did see the photos. Another day that I would have gladly gone, but it was just a random day on a Sunday. They happened the way the schedule worked, where there was no media availability. But I was so sad. Believe me, Mike, let me tell you how sad and disappointed I was that the media was not allowed in on Sunday for the first Inferno practice.
Yeah.
Another one that you don't miss. Yeah. They sent some pictures out to the media, and I should have put one on here, but they sent us, there's like a drive we can go in and get pictures from every practice. And there was literally in about half the photos, when you see guys like, hitting each other or whatever, where you can just see the perspiration and the water just literally drips all over the picture, just from how muggy and hot it is. And I know we've talked about this in the past, but it really does seem like that works.
No, 100%. The only thing that it's missing is the sun. But other than in terms of how much you're sweating and how teaching you how to play with all that sweat on you, and like you said, like you'll literally be getting down your stance, and you'll probably have a pound of sweat drip off your face mask, off your sleeves. I'm sure the guys are all wearing sleeves in there because that's kind of our thing, and it's a gnarly deal in there. Like no matter which way you cut it, like I said, the only thing that you can't simulate is the sun in there. But it gets you as prepared as you could possibly be for the first game of humidity.
And maybe this is just something that maybe I'm just weird. I don't know. But speaking of sunlight in there, like for me, maybe I just have horrible eyes, but the lighting in there is terrible. I mean, the indoor facility, that's always been some weird. Okay. All right, good. Because there's always been some weird thing where I go in there and I'm just like, turn on the lights. Like, what do you mean they're all like, I know they angle them up because they don't want them in your face. And I don't know if it was just an architectural thing or what the issue is, but especially for someone that needs video and photos, for media in there, it is just horror. Like when we hear it's an indoor practice, it's like, well, we're not getting much footage and much quality footage today, because it is just, especially in the spring when they're in there a decent amount. It is just, I don't know. It just seems really dark in there, and it's interesting when you need to be able to see to catch passes and play football. Like it's just interesting that you're almost practicing in the dark in there. It seems like. I
mean, when you go out there for fourth quarters in February. Even before spring ball, and you're doing all the runs in the indoor before you go out to the blue for the mat drills. It's as dark. It's darker than anything you can imagine in an indoor. I mean, you can it's just like a different world in there than being out in the field. So we definitely felt the same way about the lighting in there. Definitely a little darker. And in fall camp, it's a little bit better just because the sun's out the whole day, but you start getting into those later weeks of the season when you're getting in the indoor and preparing for different climates you're going to be playing in. If you're playing in a late game in California, you don't need to be out in the blue, in the 20-degree wind chill in the morning because that's not what you're going to play in that week. So it kind of just depends week to week on the climate. But, it gets dark in there.
Yeah, no doubt. But they were in there on Sunday for the Inferno practice. It's they're going to be it's been such nice weather in the mornings. I mean, I went for a run this morning, Mike. Yeah, got my run in before the show, nice and early today, feeling accomplished for once. I told you I am trying to cut a couple pounds here, and I will say this: the mornings have been nice. And some of these morning practices we've been out there. There was a practice earlier this week. I think I wore long sleeves to the first half of practice. I mean, just because it has been nice, and so needing to get a little more of that heat and humidity to get ready for Florida. They did move today's practice till 4:30, right in the middle of the afternoon. So it'll be 100+ degrees, and they'll be out there on the grass field. Another thing you don't miss.
No, not at all. That's going to be freaking cooking today. That's going to be a tough one.
You want to come? Why don't you come stand on the sideline with us and watch?
Yeah, if I have some time later, I might have to swing by. I know I have some plans around 5, so I might be a little short on my time out there. But I'll see if I can
come show your face there, man. I'll even give you a BNN hat. You can show up as media for the first time here. Come on. But we're looking forward to being out there. But they just keep checking off more boxes in terms of they had the first Inferno practice. I'm sure there'll be at least one more. They've had. I know we can't get too specific. We're not supposed to report stuff, but I don't think I'm going too far out of a limb here, Mike. Like they were practicing the victory formation at one point in a practice. Like you guys practice everything, don't you? I mean, it is crazy. Yep. Like they were like, I mean, there is no stone left unturned when it comes to, even if it's running something as simple as taking a knee and then celebrating on the sidelines.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to hit every single situation that you're going to come across in a football game. And that's been that was consistent throughout my career. Even victory, getting down to the last play of the game, having against a Hail Mary or whatever. Like, I mean, we practice freaking everything that you could think of over the course of, as you get further into fall camp, you start getting closer to game week. You got to practice all the situations, and they do a great job of progressing us throughout, the first week or two of fall camp of getting individual situations. And then as you start to get into the scrimmages, you see everything come together. A lot of different situations go down, whether that be red zone, shot zone, logo, you name it, they're going to get everything down. So you'll see everything at a Boise State practice, to say the least.
Yeah, no doubt. May not have practiced it enough that week you played Colorado State. I'll just say that, I guess. But
yeah, I knew it when I said it.
There could be a book written about some of those years. I really think I could write a
story
pretty good
for
book.
another time.
Maybe folks that come out to Uncle Bob's, and you can hear it at halftime, maybe from Michael Callahan.
I could give you a few. We'll see.
Oh man, that's going to be fun. I'm bringing in our man Nathan Carroll. By the way, he's hanging out with us here for the next 10-15 minutes. And Nathan, appreciate you. You're gonna brave the elements today and be out there for practice.
Yeah, it's the plan. Get out there. We don't have many open practices left, so I figured get out there and get something to write about while we have the chance.
Yeah, no doubt. The BNN team will be. I think Chris is going to be out there too. We'll be 3-4 deep today at practice, providing stuff back for folks at BNN. Mike, I know you haven't made it out a ton, but I know you're still very close and talking to guys in the program and coaches and stuff like that. What's been your what are you hearing? What's kind of been your takeaways, whether it be from talking to players and coaches or seeing the media coverage and everything, or being out there? Just your takeaways here at pretty much exactly the midway point here of camp. All right,
Yeah,
they call it camp. I know camp technically ends here in a couple of days, but the midway point of starting practice to playing South Florida.
yeah, absolutely. I think what we were talking about in the offseason is come to life. This is a veteran group. At every position, there's more experience than we've had probably in my whole career in terms of everybody that's returning. And having those guys to lead this thing in the right direction has definitely made a difference for this team. I know that from the videos I've seen, it's a lot crisper of a practice than what we had sometimes, and that's going to pay dividends once we get to game week. This team's a mature team with great leadership, and I think the leaders are really starting to rise. The cream's rising to the crop at this point, and you're starting to get an idea of who's going to be on the field week one. And, we've talked about it, those guys that can stack consistent days, starting from the beginning of fall camp, getting into week 2, getting to scrimmage 2, those guys that are still producing at a high level once you get to this point in camp are the guys that you're going to see at the beginning of the season. And guys starting to carve out roles for themselves on this team. So I'm excited, very excited for this team. I think the sky's the limit. They got to take it game by game, obviously. You can't start looking big picture if you're in the program. But from my perspective, I think that this team has unlimited potential. I know that I saw that they got preseason number 25, which is great. It doesn't mean anything yet, but I think that they got that right coming into this season. I think that this team has the potential to be one of the better teams in the country, obviously, and we'll see what goes down.
I think 25 is way too low, to be honest. I
agree.
You make the playoff last year. I know Nathan will probably disagree, but just off of a principle, you make the playoff last year. You finish number 9 in the standings last year. I know you lose Ashton Genty, but 25 almost seems disrespectful. Like it's like, I guess we should put him in there. Let's put him 25th. And in the years past, that's fine. Boise State was always kind of 21st, 22nd, 23rd in the poll at the beginning of the season. I get it. And if you really want to dive into it, maybe. But how many of the 66 people or whatever that voted for that really looked at Boise State's too deep? They just said, Ashton Genty's gone. Let's put him in at 25. I think they should have been, at least 20th. And you could make a case for somewhere in the 15 to 20 range just based off last year. I don't know. I thought that was personally a little disrespectful, but I know Nathan's over there shaking his head. He disagrees.
No, I just thought it was funny. You said how many of those people who didn't vote for Boise State actually looked at the 2 deep. That includes Boise's own Sean Goodwin, who didn't rank Boise State in the top 25 of his first preseason poll. Look, I think the issue with the preseason AP poll is, what is it supposed to be? Is it a predicted order of finish, or is it just a power rating? If you're functioning just as a power rating, having a team like Florida top 15 makes sense, right? Great transfer class. DJ Lagway is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Their win total is also 7.5, juiced under. They're probably going to finish 6-6, 7-5, and not finish top 25. So having Boise State at 25 to me is wrong in the sense of, if it's pure power rating, they're probably like 25 to 30 right now, given that's where most power ratings have them. If you're doing predicted order of finish, they should probably be closer to top 15. So, I don't have the best answer, and I think it's just kind of a flaw of the preseason AP poll of what is it supposed to be? What's the criteria here? So,
and I'd be fine if there was no preseason poll either, or no poll for the first. I know you need to have numbers next to teams for fans to know who to watch and all this stuff, but I still think the college football playoff rankings are still somewhat impacted by what teams are ranked the week before that or in that range. And so I would have nothing at all until the college football playoff rankings come out, because I think that's a more fair way to do it and not have any kind of preseason bias in this. I voted for 9 years in the AP basketball poll. You would do your preseason poll, and if a team doesn't lose, you wouldn't move them down. You just move them up a spot. Okay, they won, move them up one. They won, move them one up. And then you want to make yourself look good, and or just, why would I move them down? I had them 5th and they won. I'm not going to but it was never, sometimes you did that and you never even believed what you were doing. You just said, I can't move them down. They didn't lose, or this kind of stuff. And so the whole poll thing to me is kind of, I get why they do it, but I wouldn't do it until the CFP rankings come out, because that's the only poll that matters anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit of an outdated thing because the poll was created in an era where you couldn't watch all the games on TV, you couldn't listen to most of the games on radio. So you had these national writers who were putting in their polls based off of what they were seeing. Well, now we have 37 games on at once. We've got ESPN 1 through 20. We've got CBS. We can stream every single game. You and I can watch 20 games a weekend now and have a pretty good idea of what the top 25 looks like. It's definitely a bit of an outdated tradition in college football. And
with that said, though, most of the people that are voting are the people like Sean Goodwin, who is sitting in the Boise State press box watching a Boise State game for 4 hours, watching one game and missing most of the other games that are going on. And so it is a very weird system from that standpoint too, Mike.
Well, that's where I don't totally understand the whole deal for that fact alone, especially for the guys that are, writers for a Boise State or another West Coast team, or even, a Hawaii beat writer, guys that don't get done with their games until, 1 a.m. on the East Coast most times, maybe 2 a.m., depending if you're in the Hawaii time slot. And you don't really have time to watch, give your due diligence and, especially if they don't have access to tape. You can't actually watch, the all 11 or the all 20.
No, you're looking at ESPN and go, who won? All right, we'll move them up or we'll keep them.
Yeah, right. So that's why, to me, in the way that our format is now with the college football playoff rankings, that's the poll that counts at the end of the day. And like I said, it's cool that Boise State's preseason ranked, but it doesn't mean anything at all at this point. I mean, this team's still got to go out there and prove that, and they know that. Like all the alumni all know that. Like, sure, sweet, first time being ranked in the preseason rankings since 2018.
That's what I was going to say. That is the one thing where I get it. It doesn't typically matter, and they do have a streak going. I guess it ended, I don't know if it was a COVID year or what year, but they had a streak going of being ranked at least a certain amount of times, certain years in a row, and at least the AP poll. I think one year they might have gotten the coaches poll, I forget. But so that they had a streak there for a long time. But I will say in this case, yes, preseason means nothing, but they've had to work their way up. And a lot of these seasons, they're not getting ranked till week 6, week 7, because they've lost a game early in the season, and they're kind of fighting to get that national attention and fighting later in the season, at least starting at 25. And you assume if you can find a way to beat South Florida, win the next couple of games, I mean, they're going to have a chance to be climbing a little earlier this year, which will give them a little more attention, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and I think it gives you a chance for that Notre Dame game. I haven't looked at the other games on the schedule that weekend, but if Notre Dame's undefeated and, at that point, probably a top 3 team, if you're looking to try to get a game day or a big noon kickoff or some sort of big atmosphere for that game, now Boise State, instead of having a 23 next to their name, if they're undefeated, probably has a good chance of having like a 18 or 17 next to their name, which might be a more appealing to the TV networks, which is really what college football is all about these days anyways, right? So,
and I will make this early prediction. I think I even said this, Nathan, one day we were waiting around for interviews. Whatever ranking Boise State comes in the AP poll the week before the first college football playoff rankings come out, I predict Boise State will be much lower in the college football playoff rankings this year. Last year, they started Boise State too high. They kind of pigeonholed them where if they almost got to host, they were too high. They couldn't move them around. They were stuck. And I think they gave them a lot of respect and started them pretty high in the poll last year, and they couldn't move them down when they weren't losing. So my prediction is if they're like, 13, 14, or 15 in the AP poll, they're going to be like 22 or 21, or people are going to say they're criminally low in the first rankings because they're trying to plan ahead here and not, box themselves into a corner with some of the top 8 hosting the games now and all that. And they don't want that to happen. I don't think they want any part of a 30,000 seat stadium hosting a playoff game. I don't think Boise State's getting higher than 8th. If they're undefeated, win over Notre Dame, whatever, maybe there's like a once in a million scenario, but I think they will try to stack the odds, Mike, to make sure Boise State's no higher than 9th this year.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that, which sucks because, yes, you are looking at a 37-30. Well, it depends on how many seats are gone with the north end zone this year, but you're looking at a smaller stadium to host it. But imagine a college football playoff game hosted by Boise State here. I mean, that would be unbelievable.
I would pay an intern just to get a video webcam of Mike Callahan the whole game.
Oh yeah, I would. For my sake, I couldn't be recorded during a playoff game. But
DSU Bill says you have to go 4-0 to start. going to Notre Dame ranked probably 16 to 18 and playing with house money in that one, would have nothing to lose. So the South Florida game's a little trickier. And as we get into next week, I think we'll start to dive in and look up their quarterback and some of their stuff. I think that's a little trickier game than some people are given credit for. And that's as evident by the spread kind of only being about 6 points there in terms of the point spread for this game right now. But they've got a quarterback that has done some things. I think 2 years ago, it was him and Jaden Daniels were the only two quarterbacks in America that had 3,000 passing yards and 800 rushing yards 2 years ago. And I think, down there, I expect Boise State to win, but I mean, it wouldn't shock me if they went down there and lost that game. I don't think South Florida is some terrible team, but we'll see. We'll talk about that more as we go on. I do want to continue this discussion, but first got to pay some bills here and thank some more sponsors. Lithia Ford of Boise, we appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News. LithiaFordBoise.com is their website. You can check out their inventory of vehicles. The Rains family bought our used F-150 from Lithia. We are loving every second of it. And if you want to talk Jim Sturk and what they're doing, they're now sponsoring the Bronco Studios, and they continue to step up there. So Lithia Ford of Boise, make Ford your next spot. Lithia Ford of Boise for your next car or truck purchase when it comes to new or pre-owned from Lithia Ford of Boise. Hey, Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Everybody has 4 or 5 friends, family members that are realtors. Everyone's pulling at you. But if you want someone that's going to fight for you every step of the way and get you the best deal, it's Matt Bauscher. We bought and sold our home using him and his team. Tremendous customer service every step of the way. And Matt's going to be there personally for you. This isn't something where he just pushes you off to his team and he's never around. He'll come out to the house. He's part of the process. And really appreciate Matt. And you'll not be disappointed if you give him a chance. BauscherRealEstate.com is the website. Check him out, Bauscher Real Estate. Hey, Ridley's Family Markets, shop Ridley's.com. 13 locations in the state of Idaho, surrounding states, surrounding areas. Love that McCall location. They've got Kuna, Middleton, Magic Valley, Treasure Valley, you name it. Shop Ridley's.com and make sure you download that Skip app. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. Hey, if you're looking for a job, how about the trucking industry? It's booming right now. Transcompservice.com. We can, every step of the way, they can help you get all the paperwork, DOT, everything you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. They're a local company helping sign up folks all over the world. Get more information online at transcompservice.com. And Mike, you're going to get your first experience of the post-game show voice inbox. I cannot wait for this one. Hopefully it's a positive one if they win the game and play well, but folks can leave a voicemail, speakpipe.com/BNN, speakpipe.com/BNN. You can leave us a voicemail anytime you want, but definitely on the post-game show. And we're going to play some audio voicemails there for Mike and the crew on the post-game show. It's brought to you by Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades, whether it's a re-roof or repair, an estimate, and an inspection. Online, mysignatureroofing.com. And as we said earlier, we will be at Uncle Bob's Pizza for the opener. Nathan's going to be there, Chris, the whole crew, Mike, looking forward to it. And you can watch the game. They're going to have food specials, drink specials. If you're a paid subscriber, I think I'm just going to go ahead and say it now. I'll buy your first beer here. If you're a paid subscriber and you come show us you're a paid subscriber and you come watch the game, we'll buy you a beer. I think they got some $3 Coors Light specials going on, some other deals. Hopefully it's a fast game, or it could get scary there for Mike and my crew there. They better limit themselves. We've seen Bedell and Riddle. We got to make sure Callahan and the crew here. No, we want you guys to have a good time. Everyone's going to have a good time. It's going to be a great atmosphere watching the game, and they're going to pump the pregame show on the. We're making some improvements to the pregame show. We're going to have a great, Jeremiah Dickey live. We'll show everybody getting off the bus, the warm-ups. I mean, you may need to get there early, Mike, or at least watch our pregame show to kind of get if you're going to get your butterflies, going, the juices going there. We'll have live coverage from the field on the pregame show, and that's going to be streamed into the TVs there at Uncle Bob's for folks as we're getting ready for the game. And then we'll obviously have the game on, and then the post-game show as well. So Mike will be giving his thoughts and things there. And Mike, if it's going to be first for you in terms of watching the game, it's also going to be the first for you in terms of that instant post-game reaction as well, with happy fans, unhappy fans, this third down call, this missed tackle. I mean, you're gonna get it all there week one.
Yeah, and I'll be prepared to handle it. I'm hoping for more positive than negative, and I'm pretty confident that there will be some more positive. Like you said, we'll talk about it as we get closer to the actual game, but South Florida is a tough opponent, by no question about it. I've watched some film on them, and they do a good job down there. So it's going to be an interesting game with them. But I do think that this team, like I was just saying, veteran group, mature group, I think that's going to lead this ship in the right direction down there.
Now, I always forget, guys, because I have a different co-host literally every day, what I talk about with who. And I think we talked about this, Mike, last week, but they did this one-on-one tackling drill that I hadn't seen much before in terms of the defense and the offense. And it was kind of a special teams drill, but it was essentially a one-on-one tackling drill. They did it the first day they were in full pads. I was out there again a couple of days ago, or over the weekend, I guess it was Saturday, and they were out there in full pads again. And this was just one clip I was going to play. When you talk about stuff you don't miss anymore, Mike, here was I mean, that's not your typical fall camp practice hit there, Mike.
I love it because that's the first practice after a scrimmage, and they're bringing it. I mean, I know that clip's getting some, it's going viral a little bit. I've seen it a few times, but that's freaking awesome.
And that's also a true freshman trying to earn a spot on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And you bring it like that, and especially those drills before you even get to the 11-on-11 stuff, you're putting yourself in a good position because, the drills, in my opinion, are just as important, if not more important, than the 11-on-11 stuff, especially for a freshman. And if you're bringing that energy and intensity in a drill, I'm excited for that kid.
Nathan, I know you posted your 6 concerns. There was a little bit of blowback from that, from some folks, Prater included. Thought maybe you're being a little overly critical in some areas, but I know that's you're putting the numbers out there, and hey, he's a tough guy. We got to impress here, Mike. He's on the sidelines, not impressed with the depth of the secondary. Then we can go down the list here. The D line. I mean, he's got some big concerns here still 2 weeks in, Nathan. But I know some of that was just trying to. They're not actually major concerns. They're just things that aren't perfect yet, and maybe it was overblown a little bit. But overall, your biggest concern or two, I guess, at this point that you touched on in the story.
Yeah, I think that for the most part, the goal of the article was even if there's spots that we feel like we have good answers on, for example, Franklin Johnson Jr., I think will be a solid player at cornerback 3. He's never played before. We don't know, right? He could look good in camp, and maybe he's not good on the field, right? So it's still a concern for me. I do think in terms of legitimate major concerns that I still don't really have a clear answer on. Kicker is a major concern, absolutely. Backup quarterback. I talked about this a little bit on the boards, which if you're not in the 247 message boards with BNN, go get in there. We have some great conversations, get into more detail on some of this stuff. But the drop-off from Maddox to the backup quarterbacks is noticeable. If Maddox goes out, the offense will be worse. Now, that could be a case of the backups aren't quite ready to play yet. Could be a case of maybe Maddox Madsen has elevated himself and he's going to be a really dang good quarterback this year. But there's going to be a drop-off from starter to backup. And then the defensive line depth, particularly the pass rush depth, Bull's gotten a lot of praise from this coaching staff. When I look at what Bull's done in practice, he's ahead of his schedule as a true freshman, no doubt about it. Bull to me doesn't quite look like a come in, give you 200 snaps, give you 10 to 12 pressures type player yet. So I have some concerns if a Max Steege, if a Jaden Virgin Morgan goes down, on the edge there, who's going to step in, fill in, and be a major contributor? And is this going to be a situation where they got to play, Jaden Virgin Morgan or Max Steege 700 snaps this season because they don't trust the depth there? Those are the 3 that I would say they're concerns, and I don't have conclusive answers on or clear answers. Some of the other concerns in the article, I put wide receiver 1. We'll have an article coming out soon about that, but Chris Marshall looks like a wide receiver 1. Zero doubt about that. He hasn't proved it on the field yet, but we have a potential answer there. Those other 3 I just mentioned, I would say, are the 3 that I have concerns about and don't have concrete answers yet on.
And I would say, maybe I'm wrong on this, Mike, but as great as it is to hear Bull is impressive. Like, if a true freshman is already getting talked up this much, that's not always a great sign for the other guys that aren't getting any talked up, that if he's done enough to already push himself into that spot. But it could just be he's that good and he's pushing his way out there. But anything he just said stand out to you there, Mike?
Well, I will say, like, I personally wouldn't be expecting, a backup edge to get 200 reps. I think, I don't know what Ahmed and Jaden played last year in terms of total snaps, but I would imagine that they were both floating.
Well, I'm guessing he can tell you here shortly.
I can pull it up for you.
Was it around the 700 rep range?
Let me pull it up. I know Max Steege played, I think it was 193 defensive snaps last year. So that's why I used that number in particular.
That Max did play a lot. I do remember that. 193 is a lot for a backup edge. I don't know exactly what that'll look like in terms of what the backup edges are getting in terms of rep count. I would personally imagine it'd be a little bit closer to 100, but either way, those two guys that end up rolling out there, week one, it depends on, Max and JV, or if Malachi's in the mix too. Those three guys, I would imagine, will be somewhere. I would imagine Max and JV will probably get a pretty strong rep count. Malachi will probably get a strong rep count. And other than that, you just got to keep building depth at the end of the day, because defensive line, we've seen it every year. People go down. We've been healthier than years past in the last 2 years in the defensive line, and we've been able to get a lot of reps out of guys. But, you still have to, ideally, you go in with, 6 deep in terms of interior and 4 deep edge. It depends if you can get there or not. If not, then you got to have more strain on, a limited amount of guys. But in terms of what they do up front, as long as we got our guys and they're ready to roll and they're, callous through fall camp and they can take the workload that, playing defensive line Boise State takes, I'm not too concerned about it. But at the end of the day, Nathan sees what he sees. I get it for sure. And we'll see what goes down week one.
Definitely. Yeah. And I do feel good about those three guys you mentioned, right? Steege, Jaden Virgin Morgan, and I think Malachi Williams. I've seen enough that I feel confident in those three. Looking at last year, JVM and Ahmed both played over 700 snaps. Yeah. Max Steege got 193, and then next on the edge depth chart was Jake Ripp and Tavion Woodard, who were combined about 190. And last year, Ahmed and JVM, they stayed healthy, right? And so if JVM and Max Steege stay healthy, it's probably not going to be an issue, right? Same thing with with a backup quarterback. If Maddox doesn't get hurt, it doesn't matter what your backup quarterback is, because you've got Maddox. He's not coming off the field. More so, I think the concern is, okay, if Max Steege is out for 3 weeks and now you've got to rotate someone behind Malachi, where does your depth come in? And then a little bit on the interior, have some concerns. Braxton's a stud, obviously, as a pass rusher on the interior. The 3 guys that they have in there, Deion Washington, David Latu, and Lopez Danusi, who have really stood out. All 3 of them look to me a little bit more like bigger bodied, kind of nose tackle, Sheldon Newton types. Although Sheldon Newton had probably my favorite pass rush season last year. You know exactly which one I'm talking about. Just pulled over. It was at Portland State. It's just reverse pancake, gets a sack. Regardless, though, if Braxton Feely goes down or if he comes off the field, I don't see a ton of guys who look like high pressure guys on the interior. So, and again, this is just it's fall camp. We're reporting all of the things we love, all the things we're seeing that stand out about the team. And so I feel like it's important sometimes. Let's pump the brakes. This team isn't perfect. They're not going to be a national title contender right out of the gate, right? They're going to need to grow and get there. And these are some areas that I see growth in early on.
I feel like Mike Callahan agrees with Ty Benefield here.
I believe in stats. Stats are for losers. It's really, if you watch us on.
I joked on Twitter. I was like,
ready to go all season, I think, because I know in the past Mike has made some comments about Pro Football Focus and some of their grading system and all that. I think early third quarter, hopefully when Boise State's already up 17 points or whatever in that game, you guys could get into quite the discussion over a Coors Light at the watch party about some of those stats and Pro Football Focus numbers. Huh, Mike?
Yeah, we can go to war about PFF. I got my opinions. You got yours. I respect it. But, just from the people I've talked to and the people I've been around, I'm not a PFF guy.
I love it.
Other than watching film, PFF does a great job of being able to, find what you're looking for, putting in certain formations, certain run plays, certain pass plays, and getting all the sample size you need to see when you're going through your preparation. I'm a big fan of that. But in terms of the grades,
And I always say, look, it's a tool, right?
Yes.
It should be a tool. If it's backing up what you're seeing on film, it's a way to put in a number sort of what the film says, right? Ashton Genty had the highest running back grade since PFF college charting started.
I agree with that.
The film backs that up. Yeah, good player.
Of course you do, yeah.
Yeah. If it says a player isn't as good, and maybe the film doesn't back that up. It's like, okay, where can we find some differences? I think a great example of that's Braxton Feely. PFF numbers don't love Braxton Feely. Obviously, yeah, he was below replacement level in their grading scale, but he was second team All Mountain West, right?
Yep.
Clearly there's some sort of difference there. And that's where I think you jump into the film, jump into some other stats and see, okay, where's the difference here? So, when it comes to Benefield saying stats are for losers, look, I joked on Twitter, like, me and Ty are beefing now. We've got beef. We're gonna fight it out. But also, a lot of the more advanced numbers, the stuff I dive into, liked Boise State's defense a lot better than casual fans. So I think sometimes stats are for winners too, Ty. They can be good, they can be helpful.
All subjective.
So, yeah, it is, and it's all tools to try to get the best analysis possible.
You never hear anybody saying stats are for losers when the stats are referring are good stats. Then you love them. Sure, we'll use them. Yeah.
Did Ty Benefield say they were stats are for losers when it was 2,600 rushing yards about Ashton Genty? No, I don't think so.
Appreciate both of you guys coming on. I know practice is going to be this afternoon again, 4:30, a later practice today. So we'll get out there, Chris and Nathan, and we'll have we're going to talk to Spencer afterwards. So you got to wait, unfortunately, most of the day. But I'd say by 7:30, 8 o'clock, hopefully, we'll get you Spencer Danielson post practice interview, and we'll get you some highlights from practice, and we'll get you our observations and thoughts. And that's of course, if you're a paid BNN subscriber, you got to jump in there on the paid message boards, the paid post to get the for a subscriber to get the analysis that you're hearing right there from Nathan Carroll, his thoughts on practice and what he's seeing, and Chris and myself and guys that are out there, not out there. And we're getting to that point, Mike, in fall camp probably where if we're not seeing guys practice yet, it's probably getting a little tough to get them ready for week one.
Yeah, it kind of depends. I mean, I think by the end of bonus week, if you're not rolling, it's going to be, that week one might be out of the question. But, that's not to say that, week 2 or week 3, they're not ready to roll and they come in and ready to go. It just kind of depends on what their injury is, the severity of it, and what their progression is, with the training staff. And, like you said, we're getting towards the end of fall camp, technically going into the bonus week, and if they're not out there yet, they got to find their way on the field, depending on the severity, and we'll see what's up.
Yeah, so we'll Spencer Danielson had said, especially on the O-line, they were banged up a little bit, so we'll get out there today and see who's out there, who's not out there, and try to get you as much inside info in terms of that kind of stuff as we can over on the BNN message board. Just subscribe right now. 50% off offer is still going. $5 a month is all it costs. $5 a month. You can jump on board. Somebody was asking, by the way, about your comment, Nathan, on the way out of here. Let me find the clip real quick. I can't find. Are the chats on the 247 website or the Facebook Messenger chats? No, they're right on the message boards of 24. Maybe Nathan's doing private discussion on PFF in the Messenger chat. I don't know, but the 247 website. You just go to BroncoNationNews.com. BroncoNationNews.com. Sign up, join the VIP, $5 a month, and then they have a tab at the top that says boards, and you just click on that, and it takes you right to the message boards, and then we have all the discussion right there for you. So, Chris, Nathan will be at practice, and looking forward to that. It's going to be a fun day today, and we'll get you more updated info as we can. But again, Chris did throw up a new. By the way, do you know anybody from Alaska? Nathan Carroll, either of you guys?
Yeah, I know a few people from Alaska. Actually, my dad does a lot of business in Alaska as well. So I know Alaska a little bit here and there. Yeah.
Well, I know Darren College is, a famous Alaskan from North Pole, Alaska there. But Boise State did go back into Alaska for a 2026 commit along the defensive line, Michael Callahan. We need to have you take a look at some of his tape maybe. But he's got a Polynesian background, which connected him with Frank Maile, and that was kind of the connection there. But he's from Alaska. Bartlett High School there in Anchorage, and he is one of 3 players this year to have a rating on 247 Sports from Alaska, and he is he's committed, not signed, but committed back in June to come to Boise State. And Chris has an article up about him, talk to him, and how you kind of go from being a football player in Alaska to being found by someone at Boise State and joining Boise State. So if you're a paid subscriber, you can read that. If you're not, you can jump in and subscribe. And looking forward to continuing as he catches up with all the commits and things moving forward here. But guys, appreciate it. 2 weeks from Thursday, we'll be at Uncle Bob's. Can't wait. Appreciate both you guys for coming on, and we'll continue to get ready every day. We get one step closer to that first game. We're looking forward to it, and appreciate both you guys.
Yeah. Excited for it. Thanks, BJ.
Thanks, man.
Michael Callahan, Nathan Carroll. My name is BJ Rains. Have a great rest of your day. And again, Bronco Nation News Live. Go subscribe. We'll see you in the boards. We'll see you on the website, bronconationnews.com.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with a room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Yeah, I mean, I believe our defense has been elite. I don't believe in stats. Stats are for losers. It's really, if you watch